There are many false philosophies. They all share a common core. In his first paragraph of this section, the Apostle Paul outlines these characteristics of a seductive philosophy. He said, first of all, these philosophies are deceptive. They're deceptive. J.B. Phillips translates this phrase, through intellectualism and high-sounding nonsense. The word philosophy is not found anywhere else in the Bible. Believe it or not, it's not a Bible word. It's a reference to the highest effort of your intellect if God isn't in the picture. It's everything you can do, the best you can come up with if you don't believe in God. Philosophy is the love of wisdom, but in this text, it's the love of a kind of wisdom that X's God out of the picture. And the key word here is the word deceit, which occurs 18 times in the New Testament. And it's all about people trying to pull the wool over your eyes by saying to you, well, if you just knew what I knew, if you just had the knowledge I have, if you just been to the school I've been to, if you just were as smart as I am, you would know that there's much more to being a Christian than just loving Jesus. Deceptive. And people fall for it. Donald Gray Barnhouse, the great preacher and writer, used to illustrate this by telling of a practical joke that he and his teenage friends used to play on unsuspecting passersby in a large city. Here's what he did. His group would stand on a busy corner and they would look intently into the air like this. And one of them would point and say, "It is not." And a third friend would argue, "It is so." At this, one or two people would stop and begin to look up in the same direction as Barnhouse and his friends. And as the argument grew more heated, others would stop and gaze thick at the point the group discussed. Then, one by one, Barnhouse and his friends would quietly slip out of the crowd and gather a few yards away to watch the results. By this time, 15 people were looking into the air. The crowd changed as new passersby came along and joined the group, and those who had been staring longest left. 20 minutes later, several people were leaning against a building, looking up for something that was not there and had never been there. And Barnhouse observed, that little incident is a good illustration of all of the earth-born religions. People talk about having faith. They tell you to look in a direction where there is absolutely nothing. Some people are so desperately in need of seeing something that they will look till they're almost blind and they never catch a glimpse of anything real. Deception. People come along and say, "We know what you don't know what we know. If you knew what we knew, you'd crave what we have." But when you look up to what they have, they ain't got anything. It's emptiness. Let me just say to you, if you're dabbling in strange doctrine, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if there's more than one person here who's doing that, if you are listening to arrogant teaching that does not seem right to you, it does not ring true, it's not what your Christian friends and your family embrace, my advice to you is to run as fast as you can away from that seductive philosophy. Get out while you can. Get out before it's too late. Renounce anything that does not see Christ as everything. You need to do that.